This is APYouthNet.
Welcome to the APYouthNet talk show, where we look at some of the key issues regarding youth employment in Asia and the Pacific. Over 200 million people are employed by 50,000 multinational enterprises and their 450,000 affiliates. Their impact is felt in every facet of industry, trade, services, and business activities. In 1977, the ILO's governing body adopted the Tripartite Declaration of Principles Concerning Multinational Enterprises and Social Policy, also known as the M&E Declaration. The declaration encourages good practices in areas such as employment, training, conditions of work, safety and health, and industrial relations. The debate over the role and responsibilities of multinational enterprises intensified in April following the collapse of the Rana Plaza complex in Bangladesh, which killed over 1,100 people, mainly young, mainly women. Joining me today from Stockholm is Miss Anna Geda from the Swedish clothing retailer H&M, which is also the largest buyer of clothes from Bangladesh. Anna, thank you so much for joining us on the show today. Let me ask you this. What came to your mind when you first saw the pictures of this tragic event in Bangladesh?
I think that me and my whole team were completely devastated when we saw the images from the Rana Plaza. I have been to Bangladesh several times, and so has many of the colleagues that I work with. It's one of our major sourcing markets, and of course a country that we also know very well. So to see that massive disaster happening was a big shock to all of us.
Anna, Bangladesh ready-made garment industry is worth $19 billion. It employs approximately 4 million people, and it's also expected to triple in size by the year 2020. What is your company's approach to sourcing its products from markets such as Bangladesh?
Well, our approach when it comes to sourcing products is, regardless of the market, is first of all that we have a strong local presence. In Bangladesh, we have more than 400 people working on ground for H&M. We also work closely with their suppliers to develop long-term relationships. That's really key to us, and we work very collaboratively with them to make sure that we together help to improve compliance and make industry-wide improvements. And thirdly, we also have a very solid sustainability program that helps us to both address the main challenges that we see in those markets, but also make sure that the products that we have are produced with respect for human rights and also with the least environmental impact. I think one really great example that we're looking at now in Bangladesh is what we call the Social Dialogue Project, that aims to make sure that we establish democratically elected work representative committees at our suppliers. So we've had a pilot now with 5 suppliers running in that test. Then, of course, we work very much on also industry and government level. We are one of the biggest buyers in Bangladesh, and we really want to make sure that we use our influence to make sure that we can promote developments in the right direction. A recent example is our CEO, Karyuan Pashan, who went to Bangladesh last year. He met with the Prime Minister, and he put forward our demands for both higher wages, but also that we would like to see that Bangladesh has regular wage revisions, which is not currently in place right now. So that is some examples of how we are working on ground and our approach in production markets.
No, that's very good. And actually, we have to say that H&M has really been praised for having taken the lead following the event in Bangladesh, taking the lead especially on having the industry follow and sign the Accord on Fire and Safety in Bangladesh. This accord was really developed by the Industry All Global Union and the UNI Global Union Agreement with pledges from the Bangladeshi government. Tell me, what is it that inspires H&M to operate this way, to have acted with such leadership for the industry?
To begin with, I would say that it's very much in our values. We are a very value-driven company, and we have a lot of heart and soul that we put into the work that we do, and that, of course, also goes for our sustainability work. But I would also say that for us, sustainability really adds value to our business as well. And I mean, as you mentioned previously, we are one of the major sourcers or buyers in Bangladesh. And to us, it's really important that Bangladesh becomes a stable production market, that sustainable development and social progress is taking place on ground. That is something that also helps support our business. So for us, there's also very much a business case behind taking the lead that we did and make sure that we are one of the drivers into making these improvements happening on ground.
So does it mean that you, H&M, and others in the industry, Inditex, Gap, and other buyers are actually contemplating looking at a consensus to look at the decency of work of those people in factories where you operate?
We already have a lot of ongoing collaborations, both with other brands and other stakeholders. I mean, H&M is one of the members of Better Work, for instance. On the environmental side, we have a broad collaboration with WWF when it comes to setting a global water strategy, and that, of course, also involves other stakeholders. So I think that for H&M, and I think for a lot of the other actors in the industry, having those broad collaboration is already on the agenda and something that we continuously drive and develop as we go along.
And obviously, you're speaking from the perspective of buyers. Now, I would like to take a look at other stakeholders. And according to you, what role can the suppliers, the governments, and the consumers play? And also, what about the workers themselves? How can the young workers directly contribute?
I think that's a really good question that you raise. Our approach, as I said before, is really to take definitely the full responsibility that we as a buyer can take. But I also think it's important to see that those challenges that we face involve a lot of different actors. Each actor has a role to play, and it's important that no actor undermines the role that others can play. I think in the issue of fire and building safety in Bangladesh, the government has a tremendous big role to play to make sure that you have the legal framework in place, that you have the right authorities and agencies to work with implementing those frameworks and making sure that licenses and so on are issued in the right way. And of course, the supplier has a big responsibility in providing a safe workplace for its employees. Workers here, of course, I mean, one of the most important things for them is to be aware of their rights and know how to exercise them. And that is something that's also very key in our approach to make sure that we really reach out to the workers.
And now we are coming to the end of the show now. Before we do close, do you have any message that you would like to send out from yourself, or perhaps on the behalf of H&M, that you would like to send out to those who are watching us, from governments, employers, workers, organizations?
It's a big question to ask, but I think since we're discussing Bangladesh a lot now, I think recently, following the tragic incident at Rana Plaza and also other things that have happened during the past years, there has been a lot of discussions on whether companies should stay or if they should leave Bangladesh. And from our perspective, we think that definitely the best way to reach development and to have a positive impact on markets is, of course, to stay and make sure that how we run our business, how we work with our suppliers, and what we do in the communities where we are really help drive improvements when it comes to both social and environmental issues. So we fully believe that our presence is something that is going to make improvements in Bangladesh, and that the right way for buyers like H&M is to remain in the country and make sure that we continue to take our responsibility.
Thank you, Anna, and thank you for watching us on the APYouthNet talk show. Please remember to visit the site at apyouthnet.ilo.org for more on youth employment in Asia and the Pacific. From the regional office of the ILO, I'm Matthew Koniak, and until next time, goodbye from Bangkok.
This has been an APYouthNet production.